different team.
It's a one-time charge.
Yeah.
So going forward, we'll be paying about $10,000 for the accounting.
Yes, ma'am.
K Marketing, that's almost $5,000. What do they do for us?
K Marketing is the lights, right? The lighting project? Okay.
Yeah, I think in combination with this building and at the village, or the
Public Works Garage.
building, it was about $5,000 total.
So are the accounting people really working out well? Because that's more than we would pay personnel.
So when I brought the accounting folks, the agreement with Lauterbach and Amen to the board for consideration, we compared it to the cost of one person, and it was slightly more than the cost when you calculate salaries and benefits of one
okay.
person. But with this, we get
Yeah.
more than one person, a team. They're not here all the time. I will say that there have been some rough patches, but I think we've gotten through those.
Okay.
And we have worked closely with the Finance Committee and the trustees on the Finance Committee to improve things, and,
Okay.
and we're continuing to do that.
Thank you.
Also have a question on this. I noticed that in the funds here of roughly $4,200,000, almost over $4 million is invested at different rates. You were looking at possibly recommending a company to advise the village in regards to this. Is that to be discussed at this meeting, or is this deferred?
During my report, I was going to kind of describe what we're putting out there, which is an RFP for investment management services. But I don't have a lot of details. What I have is what we're looking for, which is a firm with experience doing, working with municipalities on this, that understands the special needs and requirements of municipalities for investments.
So you're going to discuss that later then? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any other questions regarding the consent agenda items or the financial report? Hearing none, can we please have a roll call vote?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Gases.
Aye.
4-0, the motion carries.
Can we please move on to new business? Item A, please.
I move that we approve ordinance 2024-17, which is approving a one-day liquor license for the October 26, 2024 event in Black Hawk Park.
I'll
Second.
And I just want to clarify that this is the Ghouls and Goblins event on October 26th, which is a Saturday before Halloween, from 3 to 6. And we are inviting all of the businesses in our area to participate, offer their products, sell their food. And we are going to need a one-day liquor license so we can also have maybe some beer and other drinks.
Any questions on that item? Hearing none, can we please have a roll call vote?
Trustee Saldana.
Aye.
Trustee Eck.
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger.
Aye.
Trustee Gases.
Aye.
4-0, the motion carries.
New business, item B.
I move that Resolution 2024-12 approving an agreement for the 2024 pavement rejuvenation program with Corrective Asphalt Materials in the amount of $56,716 be approved.
Second.
Gavin, you want to talk about that?
Yes, Joe is here and he can give you more details, but I did want to address some concerns that I've heard in the community, from the community, about this project, which will be spraying reclamite on some of the streets in the community. And I just wanted to explain what people can expect when this project gets underway. On day one, they'll apply the reclamite to the roads that are in good or new condition. So this is limited to roads that have been in our road resurfacing program for the last 3 years. And there is a map included in the packet of those roads. It will be applied to those roads. It'll go down pink. It will become, it will turn black over time on that day. And they will come back also on day one and spread a fine aggregate sand to the surface. They'll do that within 20 or 30 minutes of spraying it. That is when people can drive on it. If they drive on it before that, they're going to track the sticky materials all over the place. And there may be some stuff that doesn't get covered in sand. The company has committed to us to do the best they can to make sure all of it is covered in sand. It will be drivable once there's sand down. And then at first the road's going to look a little wet. The aggregate sand, the purpose of it is to blot up the excess product. It won't adhere to the surface. It won't stay. They will come back on day 2 or 3 and sweep up the sand that's left. They'll remove that, but it will continue to look wet. It'll have an uneven surface, and it'll feel a little bit tacky for about 5 days. It will not permanently stain concrete. You may get some on your driveway. It'll disappear in a day or two. I anticipate, or I'm sorry, within a week or two. I anticipate getting a lot of phone calls about it. It can be washed off with a degreaser and water, but the best thing to do is just to wait a week or two and it'll be fine. If you are driving on the surface when it's sandy, please drive slow. And I think that that's the information people need to know. It'll take about a month, 1 to 4 months for the road surface to even out the color to a smooth light gray. And then after about a year, treated areas will be smooth and have a consistent surface color. So it will take time, but it's going to be okay.
Gavin, can you explain why this is done? It says rejuvenation, and that sounds wonderful, but the actual purpose of this is to extend the life of the...
Exactly. It will extend the life of the pavement 5 to 7 years. So it will save the village money in the end, and that is a good thing.
And then at that point, it's reevaluated for a major change or step. Okay.
So I have several questions. This is going on streets that have already been paved
In the last
But-
3 years.
within, okay. And so this is sort of icing on the cake to make sure that they last longer than originally thought. My other questions are, as they're doing this, will the streets be closed? And will the residents be notified ahead of time that the streets will be closed during certain times?
The company's committed to doing all-inclusive notification, door hangers, the whole 9 yards. Once we get this in place, and it passes, and we set this thing up, I'm going to make contact with the contractor and make sure everything's in place. But yeah, I'd like to at least give the day of notice. People don't drive on it when they're out there, so.
Right, but they need a couple of days' notice.
Oh, yeah,
if they're
we're gonna, in
leave for
advance of
work
it.
or
But,
something.
and of course, weather's gonna play into it too, but
And then we'll be blacking the streets off so they can't drive on it.
they're in charge of all of the construction and
Okay.
traffic control as well.
Okay, thank you. Question. So these are the streets that have been done over the last 3 years. can we have a list of what's expected to be done over the next 3 years? Do you have something like that?
We are working on something like that for the committee.
Can I put Ashbrook in the mix? Our streets look terrible.
Well, there is an evaluation chart that already designates your streets by priority. So that's available now. So
Okay.
can you make sure that Eileen gets that?
Please.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
will. It's a inventory of all of our streets and their current, it's a rating of their current condition.
So they have a specific criteria that they use for a rating system so that we don't use anything non-standard. So we use the specific criteria to rate everybody's road, and that sheet that you're going to see is going to have your road on it, and then it'll tell you where it is on the list.
And I'll also get a copy of how they rate, the rating.
Yes, it'll have the rating. I do want to clarify that just because a particular street has a low rating, it may not be next on the list to be reconstructed because of underground utilities, infrastructure, and just budget and planning
And trying to group it with water main projects.
exactly.
So you'll see, I think it's red, is it red, yellow, green or something? It's a chart that's
It's a color wheel,
color-coded.
yeah.
And I think you'll really enjoy reading it because you'll be able to see everybody's street and all that.
The last thing we want to do is put a new road on old infrastructure, so that's what he was saying, that it may change just because we want to do the water main first.
Driven down Ashbrook lately, at least on the townhome side. I don't know if it's the same on the other side, Charlie. It's like driving a buckboard. There's so many, I don't know, tar filling the cracks in it. I'm guessing that's what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's really
Yeah, they
it's
crack,
unsightly.
they crack seal it, so that's something that you should talk to Joe about regarding, there is a preventative maintenance that we actually pay for. It's in the bid package for the other, isn't it? Crack sealing?
For the road program
Yeah.
that, for this year,
Yeah.
we just have some patches and overlay and grind. There's
So
no-
some people, think that crack sealing is unsightly, but we actually pay for that.
It saves
Oh,
the
I'm sure
life
you
of the
pay
road,
for it, but I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's not only unsightly, it's bumpy.
Right, so I think that's something in the future when we talk about crack sealing with the vendor can smooth the crack, some of that off, and
The
if
best
it
they
does
can, yeah.
come up the next year, we should be cutting them off.
There's a warranty on it for a certain length of time, depends on the contractor, but if we do a crack seal program, we can get all that information available to
Thank
see how
you.
long
Okay,
they.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, because yours was crack sealed, I think a couple years ago, Ashbrook was.
I don't know
Because
what
I
it
walk
was,
over there, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on Resolution 2024-12? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
4-0, the motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item C, please.
I move that Resolution 2024-13, authorizing the village administrator to purchase a new vehicle for public works at a price not to exceed $80,000.
Second.
So normally, when we would bring a purchase like this, a vehicle purchase to the board, we would have a specific model, make, and price for you to approve. The market is such right now that the 2024 vehicles are gone. The 2025 vehicles, we don't have any pricing on yet. And we know that when we do get a price for a vehicle, we're going to need to act fast before another community snaps it up. So I am asking for pre-approval not to exceed $80,000 for a Ford 250 F-250 pickup truck, and Joe can talk a little more specifics about why we need this truck and what we will do with this truck and what features it will have.
Our fleet is pretty old. I'll just start there. The one truck that we're looking to replace, the truck bed is completely rusted out. You can't even put anything into it right now because it would just fall right through. So that truck is the one we're replacing. It currently has a plow. It's kind of a spare plow. So this new truck, we're going to get a plow package on it and also a Tommy gate on the back. It's a lift gate for people who don't know what that is. So you can put stuff on it and lift it up rather than people hurting their back to lift garbage cans or something into the back of the truck. Safety. So we're going to get, it's basically a F-250, as Gavin mentioned, with various options that we're not going crazy on it. We're not getting, Bose stereo or anything like that, but just options that would work well for heavy-duty alternator, extra battery, stuff like that, just heavy-duty stuff like that, but not going crazy on it. Other than that, it's standard pickup truck for plowing and everyday use.
My understanding is that if we were able to buy it this year, the price would be slightly less than $70,000, and so by putting an $80,000 amount in the resolution, it gives the administrator a little room to act should prices go up from one year to the next.
Correct. I should have the new pricing sheet. I reached out to the consortium, and they said a couple of weeks. This week would be the second week, so next week I'll reach out again, see if I can get the new price sheet. I already do have costs for the plow and the Tommy gate. I checked with my vendor on that, and they said that what I had gotten prices for that on before would be consistent with the 2025 truck model.
And Joe hit on this, but I want to make sure we're going through a government cooperative to purchase this, so these vendors are pre-approved.
Any other questions on item C? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote?
Trustee Saldana?
Aye.
Trustee Eck?
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger?
Aye.
Trustee Gazis?
Aye.
4-0, the motion carries.
Moving along to new business, item D.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-14, approving the Heritage Site Land Use Committee Charter.
I'll second that.
So, what you have before you is the committee charter, and also, I'm looking for this.
It's this one.
At the previous meeting, the board authorized me to seek bids for the demolition of the Heritage Center building. I've posted and distributed a request for bids on our website and DemandStar, which is a system for governments to post bids for contractors. And I've also sent it directly to some companies that contacted me after our last board meeting. The sealed bids are due at Village Hall on November 4th, and then I'll bring a recommendation for the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to the November 14th board meeting. At the same time, the village board asked that we create a committee to look at, to study what to do with that site in the future, the site that the Heritage Center is currently on. And what I did is I talked with Eileen about a charter for that committee, and that is in your packet. And we also talked about, we put out an application for folks to apply to be on the committee, reviewed those, both with Trustee Donnersberger and with President Wittenberg. And before you tonight is a list of members for that committee. I've got it broken into 2 columns. Sorry, I didn't provide that electronically.
Yeah.
Here it is. The, on the left side, you have the chair, trustee Donnersberger. Trustee O'Loughlin has agreed to be on the committee as well. And then there's one member of the Plan Commission, Kat Holotke. The Plan Commission commissioners are in the process, at the beginning stages of developing a new comprehensive plan for the village, which includes land use for significant sites like this one. So it makes sense to have a representative from the Plan Commission on the committee as well. And then on the right are residents without an official role at the village who have also applied to be on the committee. There's a spread in the geographic location they all live in the village. There's a representative who lives on Hiawatha right near the Heritage Center site. There is a mix of expertise. There is a representative from the docents on the committee, and I'll answer any questions you have. There, again, it's, this resolution would be approving the formation of the Heritage Site Advisory Committee and the appointment of members and approving the committee charter, which this committee will, it's an ad hoc committee. It's being created for one purpose, and that's to study this site once they deliver their recommendations. And I have a timeline in there of July 10th, 2025. That's your July of next year board meeting. And once they've made their recommendation and once the board has accepted that recommendation, the committee will not be there anymore. So it will expire. Sunset, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Appreciate it. So, any questions?
It says in there to meet bi-monthly. If
Mhm.
the committee is making progress, can they meet more frequently? Whoop, thank you.
Certainly.
It says meeting bi-monthly, and can the committee meet more frequently than bi-monthly, or is
I
that
sure
the,
hope
or is that the
so.
minimum,
Yes,
or is that the
yes.
minimum
Yeah.
time frame that is
Yeah, and
anticipated
I'm
here?
Thankful to you, Gavin, for putting such a long way out for the end product, but I hope to get that done much, much quicker.
Okay.
Any other questions on the charter or the timeline or anything regarding this advisory committee? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
4-0, the motion carries.
Moving along to item E.
I move for Resolution 2024-15, adopting the 2024 Cook County Hazard Mitigation Plan and the Indian Head Park Jurisdiction Annex be
Second.
approved.
I second it.
I just really want to quickly talk about why this is important and some of the, highlight some of the parts of it. It's a long document. The Cook County version is 80-something pages, and the Indian Head Park Annex is 28. So I'm going to try to cover it in one page. It's the reason it's important for us to adopt it, and the reason it's before us is in order to be eligible for federal mitigation grant assistance, we have to have a plan like this. We worked with Cook County and 125 other jurisdictions to create this plan. It will, the type of funding that it makes us eligible for will be crucial in funding future mitigation projects like flood prevention, stormwater management, adopting new building codes, and implementing new building and property standards codes. It represents a proactive approach to mitigation, not waiting for the storm to come, but trying to set things in place so the impacts of any kind of natural hazard will be mitigated. Specific risks identified for Indian Head Park are flooding, especially from water runoff in areas west of Wolf Road and north of Joliet Road, but also other locations in the village. Severe weather like snowstorms, extreme heat, and tornadoes also pose a notable risk, particularly given the village's higher than average age of our population.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
As long as he keeps looking that way.
I was looking universally. Because our older residents are more vulnerable during power outages or any of those extreme weather phenomenon. Some of the actions, this year we applied for FEMA grants we applied to the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, who is then moving it up to the Federal Emergency Management Agency for stormwater management assistance and for building and property standards codes assistance with those two projects. We don't know the results of those applications yet, but they did go to the level of IEMA. We applied several months ago and should hear any time now. We will continue to participate in the program with the county in the annual reviews and the updates, and we'll keep the board notified. You'll be involved as we develop applications and plans and implementation of any mitigation efforts, but we'll also provide you an annual update on the plan itself. And the benefits to the community include reinforcing the village's proactive stance on disaster risk reduction and long-term community resilience. It will help mitigate the impacts of climate change and ensure that future development is well managed.
I have a question. Does this plan include things like identifying cooling or warming centers? Should there be like a power outage during extreme heat or extreme cold? Even if those are identified close to Indian Head Park and not in Indian Head Park, is that included in there?
We should.
Okay.
I don't think it's specifically called out in this plan
Okay.
specifically, but it's something that we should be doing to notify our residents of how they can get assistance.
Yeah, something that is pre-written, pre-prepared for if that disaster happens, you don't have to suddenly start calling other people, hey, where's your warming center? Where do I send these people? You have the plan already. Okay, thank you.
And the other thing that we could add to that, we had a residential fire, was it last year, in Acacia? And we also found out that Pleasantview Fire Protection District has a packet regarding if your house or residence has been burned down or has had a fire. They have a whole package for preparedness, which we could include in that. Because that homeowner, it was at night and needed assistance, and that packet, it would have been good for us to have that packet up front.
Yeah, like something that can be uploaded in our website as a resource
Yep.
under the tab resources in case of be prepared,
Correct.
whatever you want to call it, and have the information of if you didn't know, if you ever need, this is what you do, this is where you go.
We'll get those on our website and have them at the front office too.
Thank you.
I don't know, I mean, it would be a lot of work, but is it feasible to try to get a list of particularly vulnerable older citizens, people who are on oxygen or in wheelchairs, or something to think about?
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, maybe we can ask the homeowners associations if they have such a thing, or if they could put one together.
And we can work with Aging Care Connections to do something like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the Cook County Hazard Mitigation Plan and our jurisdictional annex to that plan. Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote?
Trustee Saldana,
Aye.
Trustee Eck,
Aye.
Trustee Donnersberger,
Aye.
Trustee Gazis.
Aye.
4-0, the motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item F, which is a discussion of the Personnel Policy Manual, sections 1 through 6.
So I took your advice, board, and I broke up the personnel policy manual, and this is the first part that has been sent out to you all, and we don't have to have a full discussion about this today. You can send me any thoughts or questions you have, but what we have here is first off, a welcome to any new employees. We go through our legal requirements, sexual harassment prevention or prohibition, our equal employment opportunity statement, and resources if a staff member does feel like they're being harassed, how to report that and what the process is for that. We also, it talks about in section 5, the workday and compensation covers normal working hours, overtime, comp time, breaks and leave policies are in here. And then we get down to one thing that is a change from past practices on paid. I had mentioned at a previous meeting to the board that my recommendation would be to go with the federal holidays and the day after Thanksgiving. And those are what are listed here. And that we just had a lot fewer holidays in the 2018 Personnel Policy Manual that is what we would be updating. And then it does talk, another change would be how vacation works. Right now, when you start at the beginning of your year, when you first start and then annually after that on your start date, you receive all of your vacation for the year up front as opposed to accruing it with each pay period. And so this would be a shift to accruing it each pay period. And still the accrual would begin from your date of hire and every anniversary. There is also a vacation carryover limitation of 2 weeks, which is just standard practice. Mm-hmm. And was not in our current policy manual. It also incorporates the Illinois Paid Leave for All Workers Act, which guarantees paid leave for part-time employees, which wasn't in place when we had the 2018 manual. So, like I said, you can ask me any questions you have now, or if you want to send me those, and I'll address them, and we can incorporate any changes when I bring the final package, which will, I'll bring groups of sections to each meeting until we get through this all.
Did you have in a different section, FMLA and parental leave?
Yes, we'll have a whole
That's a
section.
separate section.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that might be its own section one night.
And adoption included.
Right.
Thank
Of
you.
course, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments on policy manual 1 through 6? Okay, hearing none, I think that's just a discussion item. So can we move along to old business? Heritage Center summary of findings.
So at the last meeting, I had presented information from various sources. Over several meetings, I have presented that information. I've brought it all together and summarized it in a new memo and a chart, a findings matrix, identifying which report addressed each of these areas. And then I've attached the full staff report to that I had shared previously. And at the last meeting, I had just received, right shortly before the meeting, an email from the company, RHP, that did the air quality testing, and they had just summarized it but didn't include full reports. So I was able to address those in this chart, this matrix. So,
Yeah,
and I
upload these a different way.
I just wanted to kind of visually summarize the problem areas and then identify, specifically what reports had to say about those areas. So I'll entertain any questions about that.
Do we have any conclusions in regards to the books that are there and whether or not they can be safely shared with others?
So that is still an outstanding question. We have reached out to a couple of experts on older books and have not gotten answers to those questions. But I did meet with the 3 of the docents from the library today, and we discussed different options for culling some of the books out and working with those books. And they're also looking into what needs to be done to make sure that that is done safely and healthy. So we're still working on that.
Any other questions on the matrix? I think the report was from last time, but I think the matrix is new, right? Is that correct?
Yes, the matrix is new.
Thank you, Gavin. It'll be a good starting point for the committee.
Yeah, and it's updated in the website? Or will be?
It will be. So far, I have all of the reports from
report.
all of the different agencies.
Well, the
Those
matrix
are up.
is awesome because it just compares, so if you can add that to the
Feel
website.
like have I put it up there? Have you seen
I've seen the
it?
heritage.
It will be up there tomorrow.
Yeah, there's
I
a
guarantee.
Heritage
If it's not
Center.
already up there.
There's a Heritage Center pull down. I mean, you can go
Yeah.
to the Heritage Center and see the first report. I'm not sure if this is on it yet.
I'm not 100% sure, and I don't have my computer open, but I will guarantee it will be up there tomorrow. I do know that, I do know that the reports that are identified in this summary are up there. I put those up there.
Alrighty, any questions? If not, we're going to move on to public comments. It's the time in our meeting where we will entertain any comments from the public. Do we have any this evening? Or did we receive any from emails? No? Alrighty, then we'll move on. Seeing there are no public comments, we will move on to reports. Trustee Gazis, do you have a report this evening?
Brief report, Planning and Zoning did meet on October 1st. Kat Lotke, silent H, is going to represent the commission, as we stated before, on the Heritage Site Committee. As part of the consent agenda, there was an appointment of another commissioner, Anthony Bailina. And thirdly, Andres led a great discussion regarding the next 6 to 12 months direction on the committee, and I'll let him speak to that if you'd like. Or essentially, we're going to put out some requests for some consultative help. Go ahead, Andres.
Yes, so, as you know, as Gavin has mentioned multiple times tonight, we are looking at redoing the comp plan, but also the building and, zoning code as well. And so that's going to be a bigger process, and we were looking at the RFPs for that. One point of discussion that we actually came on to at the near end of the meeting is perhaps looking at, instead of going for a consultant for each of these big pieces, is maybe looking for a planning consultant, similar to how we have like a Strand or a Thomas, where that way we could have them on staff to help us if, say, we get any development through the Economic Development Committee as well, but also to kind of, support us as well here, and to bring some, basically it would reduce costs. It basically taking smaller bites at these instead of taking big costs for each of these big items. We could perhaps attack it in smaller times, and also get additional versatility and a little bit of smaller financial investment. I'd say investment's not the word I'm looking for. Cost, which will give the village a little more flexibility, because if you sink $50,000 into a comp plan consultant, then you don't have $50,000 that you need. Whereas if you had someone who was, on staff for a minimum amount, and then could get task orders like Strand and Thomas have done for us, that way we could, like I said, not putting anything in the air, but in case, the economy does downturn, it would give the village a little bit of flexibility on that. But that's a further discussion we're having on that at the moment, so.
And the key on that would be to just provide some structure and direction. Staff is obviously very busy. The board role should be supervisory and some guidance, but I feel like that is a very talented commission. We've got great people on there, and we will try to utilize them in the most efficient way possible. Thank you.
One more point, and I apologize, I forgot to mention. It also helps with the village to have continuity. As I made the comment, if I won the lottery and left, your planner would be Gavin, and he's slightly busy at the moment. So it does help with, as you've noticed in the past, year as turnover has happened, continuity becomes harder. If you had a planning consultant on staff or for a while, you can kind of ride those bumps. Not saying that the village will be looking at one long, over years, but it would be an option that also could be provided. I had some experience when I was in Kendall County. We used Tesca for that, and they had been with the county. They had been the consultant for the county for about 10 years, and they had a lot of that intrinsic knowledge. And when developments happened, they were able to kick up, their services. When development wasn't, they were also be able to provide additional research for the Plan and Zoning Commission. So, but that's one of the options we're looking at currently.
And just to be clear, the Planning and Zoning Commission will come back, make a recommendation to the board, and the board will have the final authority on that decision. And there's nothing wrong with Gavin as a planner.
Eileen?
So I was not here for it. I was out of town, but Craig Fisher, who's on the Economic Development Committee, organized a business owners reception here at City Hall. I think they got about 8 or 9 businesses at that reception. And basically it was a meet and greet where they talked about what bothered them and what they were happy about. And we're going to try to learn lessons from that. Additionally, the whole or most of the Economic Development Committee will be traveling to Mundelein on the 14th. I can't remember. 22nd? I almost said that. On the 22nd, Mundelein has done a tremendous job in revitalizing their business district. So we want to go up and talk to the village manager there and find out how they did it. I think a little bit of creative financing and a little bit of politicking. So we hope to learn lessons from that and bring it back to Indian Head Park.
Thank you. Charlie?
Thank you. Public Works met on October 4th, and a couple of the items were on the agenda here, including the truck. And we meet monthly, and the public is invited. The Finance Committee met on October 2nd, and the following budget meetings, we're going to start looking at the budget for the coming year. And we also are going to start looking at obligations that are repetitive, and we get repetitive invoices, and looking at those organizations that we belong to, and just to make sure we all understand what they're about. But again, the public's invited, and we'll be meeting the first week in November. Thank you.
Hi.
Trustee Saldana.
So as I mentioned before, we have our Ghouls and Goblins event coming up on October 26th. We have an event in the morning at Sacagawea Park. We will have doggies in costumes and cats and whatever pet you want to put on a costume, and bring them for a parade and a chance to be juried and win a prize. And then from 3 to 6, we're going to be at Black Hawk Park, and we have invited all of our businesses to participate and offer. It's a chance for them to offer their products at the event. And we only request that they bring a big bowl of candy so kids can trick or treat from business to business inside Black Hawk Park. We're going to have fun and drinks and food and a contest for the kids' costumes. They'll have a chance to win a prize too. During this event, we're hoping that some of the businesses that do not offer products, take in your hand products or food, for them to participate. And I asked for the guys at Jiu-Jitsu if they wanted to do a demonstration, and they're very excited, and they will. So we're going to schedule that. And so in the coming days, we'll start probably promoting the event with little tidbits of who's coming and what are they going to be doing. Oak Pantry is started today offering pizzas by the slice, and they have said that they will bring some pizza that they will sell at the event, and it's gonna get interesting because everybody wants to participate with something, and it will be kind of like the taste of IHP at the Ghouls and Goblins event.
So that's really interesting, because my husband went out today, and he hates going to the store. I asked him to pick up something we really needed, and he must have stopped at Oak Pantry because he came home with a piece of pizza
Yep.
and that flyer and said, it's really good.
It's really good. They were giving it away for free, one slice. They started today. They have been planning this for a long time. They're kind of late on that, and there's some menus on the table. But we hope that this chance that they'll have to offer the pizza at the event also helps them market their new products. And the same for every single business that wants to participate. They're welcome. There's going to be tables. Just offer whatever you have, and just bring a bowl of candy for the kiddos. And that's it.
Thank you.
Any role for the Public Works on that event?
Oh, yes.
How much candy do you want?
A lot.
Yes, the committee will be emailing you with
I
their,
was going to say, yeah, just email me what you need from us. Okay.
it's the 26th, so we'll need you and the chief to be open to help if possible.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to need a table set up, but we don't know how many businesses are going to answer, but we're hoping to have a number soon.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
All righty, village clerk.
It's election season, so I wanted to do a bit of a brief overview of what's going on with election-wise. First, yesterday, I believe it was the first day for early voting in Illinois. And online, we do have and I believe we actually here set up over there, we have our early voting sites around Cook County and the village. And so if anybody wants to, it's also online under our elections page, so they can look at that. We've been getting quite a few questions about our early voting. And right now, it's only in a few select areas around Cook County at all the courthouses. A couple weeks from now, it expands again. And then, of course, before we meet next time, will be the presidential election on November 5th. Looking at our current locations, the precincts that will be this will be a voting spot in the village. Precincts that will be voting here are Lyons Township 31, 39, and 66. The Acacia Association Clubhouse is also a voting area for Precinct 61. And then anyone who's in Lyons Township 46 or 53 will vote at the Pleasantdale Park District. Of course, if you are looking to try your chances at becoming an elected official, you can now be circulating petitions to get signatures, and the village will start, if you're looking to be in the April 1st consolidated election for the 3 trustees positions that are available at Indian Head Park. You can we'll be start accepting signatures November 12th, and I'll go through November 18th during regular business hours. The minimum amount of signatures that are required to be on the ballot is 51. We will be putting out a short, brief kind of overview of what you need to do for the packets and turning it in. However, I will say that there is a 2024 candidacy manual guide that is put out by the state of Illinois that is exhaustive, that you can read as well. I believe, if I remember correctly, there's also template forms for like gathering signatures and a checklist as well. But we'll be putting that out on our own website here very soon as well. So.
And one note about early voting, for those of you that vote, have voted at Hodgkins in the past, it's actually at Lyons now, Lyons City Hall. And correct, it's October 21st through November 4th, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That is at the Lyons Village Hall. And a lot of people were confused last election because we used to go to Hodgkins. So please be aware that now we're going to Lyons, which is only about 5 minutes from Hodgkins. So don't worry about where it's located.
And to be clear, it's Lyons Village Hall, not Lyons Township Hall.
Correct. Lyons.
The Village Hall on Lawndale.
Yeah, the Lyons, the town of Lyons on Lawndale. And it starts October 21st through November 4th, 9 to 5.
So thank you for reminding me. Also, just one little tidbit, you can still register to vote, and Illinois does allow for day of registration for voting, so you can go online and look at that, or you can register online at the state voting. It's ova.gov, but if you look it up, you can both look up what precinct you're in, where you'll be voting at, or register to vote. Like I said, you can register day of, and it'll tell you what you need to bring if you need to do it, but otherwise, I just wanted to put that out there because everyone should be registered and everyone should vote if they can do so legally.
All right, next on Village Treasurer. Do you have a report tonight?
No.
Village Attorney.
No report, and there is not a request for a closed session later in the meeting.
Thank you. And Village Administrator.
Okay. First, our village offices will be closed Monday for Columbus or Indigenous Peoples Day for the holiday. So we won't be here. The IDOT land at the northeast corner of Wolf and Joliet has been the subject of a lot of discussions over the years. We have been maintaining the landscape at that corner more proactively lately. People may have noticed it looks a little cleaner, neater, and that's thanks to our crew at Public Works. President Wittenberg and I met with the IDOT Region 1 team, engineering team, and we are putting in a formal request for the use of that land for additional open space at a prominent entryway to the community. So stay tuned. We will keep everybody updated on what's going on there, but we are putting in that request and hope to hear from them soon. We feel like we finally got to who we needed to get to. We've been talking to folks for the entire year I've been here, year plus. I want to thank the board for supporting me and going to the ICMA conference a couple of weeks ago. I went to a lot of sessions. A lot of them were geared specifically towards small communities who don't have a lot of resources and need to be a little more creative than larger communities. So I got a lot out of the experience and out of the sessions on HR, strategic planning, capital improvement plans, data and engagement, artificial intelligence in local government. So stay tuned for exciting new developments. And then the panel I presented as part of at the conference on data-driven decision-making, that went really well. And I got a lot of good feedback from folks in the audience who benefited from the presentation. I'm looking forward to putting what I learned into action. On the survey, I will be putting the final slides up on our website, as well as the full results of the community survey that we did, so everybody can access those. Finally, as mentioned earlier, we are issuing an RFP for investment management services. We're looking for a partner with experience with municipal investments, so they understand the specific needs of local governments, such as cash flow and risk tolerance, and that has an investment strategy that is conservative, prioritizing capital preservation and income generation over high-risk, high-return strategies, and that is consistent with the investment policy adopted by the board. And then finally, they have transparency and reporting to help us maintain public trust and ensure that the village can make informed decisions when it comes to investments. So that's my report.
Great, thank you so much. Can we please have department heads? Joe?
Thank you. We'll give a pump house update. We're fully operational over there. We have been for over a month now, and everything's been running very smooth over there. Strand Engineering sent out a detailed punch list to the contractor, Independent Mechanical, to get in and fix all the smaller things that need to be, like landscaping on the outside and some inside repairs, holes that need to be filled and so forth. They hope to be done by the end of the month. Met with Metropolitan, who runs our SCADA system. They came in to do a checklist on everything on theirs. Still waiting for their report, but everything's been running good. I've been getting real good support from them, answering a lot of questions that I have with the new system. But it's been moving along really well. Our sanitary project started today, actually. The Public Works Department made off some notifications and had them out by end of the day, Monday, for the areas that they are cleaning pipes right now and doing some minor repairs. They plan on doing lining the week of 10/21, and they're going to be putting door hangers out for all the residents in that area. Visisewer is the contractor, by the way, so you'll see them around. They have a couple of trucks at our building that they're using our property to store their vehicles there while they're working in town. The road program, when we spoke with the Reclamite already, but we are still looking to do the Thunderbird and Cherokee loop. I'm just going to go over the timeline that was given to us. 9/12, September 12th, the task order 24036 for professional engineering related to 2024 road program project was awarded to by the Board of Trustees. The week of 9/16, the engineers performed a topographic survey and base mapping. The week of 9/23, performed field assessments, preparing preliminary plans, specifications, and estimates. The week of 9/30, preliminary plans and specifications and estimates. The week of 10/7, pre-final plans, specifications, and estimates. The week of 10/14, final plans, specifications, estimates, and design calculations. On 10/18, they plan to advertise for bids, and that will be between 10/18 and 11/4. Bid opening is scheduled for Tuesday, November 5th at 10:30 a.m. And it'll be ready for the board meeting on November 14th with a hopeful construction date completion of December 13th. Hopefully this still goes through this year. We're really pushing to get the road program done. We had our meeting with Cook County last month, and that has paid off really well because I have a lot of communication with them now, and they're very responsive to a lot of our requests. I actually sent out an email today that there was a tree down that fell over the weekend. The police department contacted me, so I gave a message for that. There's a sign that's across from Algonquin on the east side that's all mangled. They're going to replace that, and they're going to come back out and do a little bit more of an aggressive trim on the west side of Wolf Road. Other things, we have a new hire. His name is Bob Hernandez. We hired him. He's on his second week now. He comes to us with he had his CDL already, construction background, well-rounded. He's paying off already. He's a hard worker, real go-getter, so we're happy to have him. Next week, I contacted our HVAC company to come in and do maintenance on our buildings. It hasn't been done for over a year, so we want to get them in there and just check all of our buildings for HVAC. I obviously told them we got a brand new HVAC at the Public Works building, so that doesn't need to be maintained this year. But on a side note too, when they did the pump house, there were electric heaters in there, and it was in the plans not to hook those back up. We have other heaters in there that I gotta have our contractor look at those to get those running, because according to what I know, they don't work at the moment, so I just want to get those running. We're getting into the cold season, so we talked about the truck already. Park maintenance this week, we are putting all new mulch down at Sacagawea. Most of it's done. We should be able to finish that up tomorrow. We had a water main break at 27 Algonquin last week. The contractor came in and made the repair. We already did the landscape repair over there. There is a section of parking area over there that needs some blacktop. I'm going to incorporate that in with this year's road program as long as it goes through. We had a quote for a fence repair over at the pump house. Somebody drove into it last year and did some damage. So the company that did the fence for us for the pump house program, I contacted them directly and got a quote from them, and I'm just waiting to hear when they're gonna do that. I did want to mention the leaf collection again. We've noticed around town people are starting to put leaves out in the curb line and stuff like that. We really don't want to do that right now to impede any water, rain, and storm sewers and so forth. The dates for it are November 11th week, November 18th week, and November 25th. We put it on our website, but we just want to say, don't put anything that might impede water flow. Keep it up on the parkway or whatever you got to do if you're going to be putting it out early, because we don't want to cause any drainage issues throughout town. And finally, a couple of events coming up. I've been on this committee called Joint Products Day. It's in Mundelein this year. It's a kind of a product show of all the latest and greatest and newest stuff that's coming out. But I've been on this committee for 10 years. It's hosted by different water divisions. This year it's North Suburban, that's why we're up in Mundelein. Mid-Central Waterworks Committee, which I was on, they do one in Elk Grove Village, and then they have the South Suburban Water Commission. They do it down south in Orland Park. But this year it's up in Mundelein. I plan on attending that. You can get some CEUs for your water license and so forth. And I also got a invite to the APWA coffee meeting, they call it. It's an update on what APWA is all about, and it also gives you your networking and continuing education and training opportunities. And that will be on the 18th of October.
And that's the American?
APWA, yeah, Public Works Association.
Great, thank you.
That's my report.
Great, Chief Walsh.
Okay, as you know, Cook County approved LPRs, license plate readers, on their property. I was shocked. I was very excited about it. I want to thank you, Mayor, for your letter of support. Commissioner Morrison, I think, was the spearhead for that, and I truly didn't know that we would get this done. That will allow us to put at a Plainfield and Keokuk. I don't know the time frame. I don't know when the permissions will come out, but it's a big step, especially with Cook County. I didn't think this would happen, so thank you. About the case that happened on August 23rd, where the victim was shot in the leg. He was just selling some items over Facebook Marketplace. Detective Kassane has worked tirelessly on this. He had to jump through many hoops that the state's attorney put forth. We had to wait for ballistics to come back, which took about a month and a half. They came back, matched the weapon. On Monday, the state's attorney was here all day with the victim, with Detective Kassane, and with Officer Martinez, who did the interpreting. After they met all day long, we were able to get aggravated battery with a firearm and armed robbery charges on this suspect, on the offender. The offender is in custody, so it worked out well. The offender was denied bail on a case with Illinois State Police. So the next court date's not till November, so I'll update you then on progress. But they did a great job. And I mean, it was a lot of hoops to jump through, but they jumped through them all and was successful in getting charges. Our
Can I
recruit
ask a question?
I'm sorry?
Does the offender have a record?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
I think I mentioned this previously, but at the next court date, if you think it appropriate, I'd like to get some citizens together to show up and show support for both your officer, the victim, and also to let the court know that we're looking.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that, because we had spoke about that before. I'll get the court date for Illinois State Police as well, because he's wanted for a homicide.
Okay.
And,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, wanted for
Okay.
several other things, too.
Okay.
That's just one case.
Yeah.
So our offender's been around a little bit, so I will let you know.
Okay.
And are those Class X felonies?
The ones that we have?
Yes.
Right now, I believe they're Class 1. I'll check
Okay,
those.
Class
They're
1.
Class X, you're right, 6 to 30 for each.
Thank you so much for that.
That was-
I
that
I
was-
appreciate, I know Detective Kassane and the whole team has put in a lot of time, so thank
He's been
you.
running back and forth. He had to get camera footage from LaGrange Park, who's been excellent. Now that this is done, I'm going to send thank yous to all the departments, everybody that's helped us, because it was a long, drawn-out process, but it worked out. We have a recruit graduates December 12th, Brandon Bishop. He has a 93 average. He's doing very well, so we're proud of that. And getting back with Trustee Donnersberger, I will contact the fire department. They may have a list of people with special needs, like you're saying, with oxygen and other things, so I'll find out. If they don't, I think it's a great idea to try and create one so that we know who our residents are. And that's basically it for now. I have a bunch of notes, but they're nothing you want to hear.
All righty, I think we are now at the time where I would like a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a
Motion to adjourn.
Sorry. I'll second it.
All righty, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Oh, all in favor for adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.